All right, guys. So I came across an interesting article here talking about how apparently too much fan service is a bad thing in video games, I guess, because the director from Dragon Age to Veilguard, and I'm assuming they're talking about Corin Bush, right? Mr. Bush, apparently thinks that too much fan service and too much cameos from a game that has a legacy of 3 games prior, by the way, which makes no sense, is too much. It's too bad. It's a bad thing. And they're trying to make something completely different from the original games, which is why we have Dragon Age to Veilguard to begin with in the first place.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
So the article has a headline that reads, "Too many fan service cameos can ultimately cheapen the arcs and the authenticity of these characters," says Dragon Age to Veilguard's game director. "I think this is directed at the Zevran fans. Sorry." So again, guys, I can understand the overall sentiment of this, but I think that this is more so coming from the fact that they don't want to acknowledge the history of Dragon Age. I think they are more focused on making their androgynous current new characters as special as humanly possible, and they don't want to drag down these new androgynous characters by bringing in characters people actually give a fuck about. So let's get into this article. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says, over just a few games, Dragon Age has produced a lot of well-loved characters. So it's no surprise that fans are constantly asking if their faves are going to show up in Dragon Age to Veilguard. But look, they can't all show up, BioWare says. Why not? Why not? Unless they're canonically dead. If they're canonically dead, whether by old age or whatever, then why not? I don't understand why they can't all show up. Like, you guys realize that a lot of the people buying Dragon Age to Veilguard are fans of the original Dragon Age games, and they're probably either too stupid or too shilling or too into the fact that they're too into the series, so they're not gonna want to ignore this game, even though they see the writing on the wall and they can see exactly the direction this game is going. A lot of people just don't want to admit what's right in front of their eyes, right? It takes a few FUs in order for people to realize what's happening, and then they'll end up just completely abandoning this franchise completely. But still, it's people who are fans of the original 3 games. Why would you not want to give them fan service? That just seems a little bit odd to me, right? It's a weird choice. And the only reason why I can think that you wouldn't want to do that is because you want your new characters to stand out. That's all I can think. Like, the new characters are so terrible that these old characters showing up would make them outshadowed, and it shows a clear bias, but that's besides the point. So then it says, during the Q&A portion of the Veilguard's preview event early this month, the team was asked how BioWare decided who to pull from the existing cast and bring into Veilguard as side characters or cameos. It honestly comes down to, do they have more of a story to tell? Creative director John Epler said, "We don't want to just bring back characters so you can be like, hey, I recognize that person. But certain characters have more to their story." Oh, okay, so I guess I didn't speak to Mr. Bush. That's fine. Do we have something interesting to say with them? Do they have an interesting role? And does their story progress as a result of what they do or what they don't do in the story we're telling right now? Game director, there he is. There he is. Shout out to Mr. Bush, man. Game director Corin Bush agreed, adding that it's great to see cameos, but fan service can sometimes be exciting in the moment, but ultimately cheapen the arcs and the authenticity of these characters. What? That's insanity. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, my guy? Like, come on, man. You guys just want to push your nonsense, right? I guarantee you they're going to bring back a lot of the female characters. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet they're going to bring back majority female characters, and they're only going to bring back the males if they can be villains? How much you want to bet that's going to go down in Dragon Age to Veilguard? That does track with all the returning characters that we know are coming to Veilguard so far. Everyone was quite jazzed to see Morrigan again, there's a female, and her involvement makes sense given her relationship to the Elven gods. We've also recently learned that your prior game protagonist, the Inquisitor, will make an appearance. Not surprising, since they got an interest in stopping Solas' whole world destruction bit. This seems more aimed at everyone who has desperately wanted Zevran, the Anti-Ven Crow party member from Dragon Age Origins, to turn up in the Veilguard. Yes, we're going to visit parts of Anvita, and yes, the Crows are getting a bigger presence than ever before, but he cameoed in Dragon Age 2, and it was already a stretch then. We've got to let him retire. If Dorian Pavis isn't a whole side character, though, I will definitely have words with someone. So, again, guys, just think about this for a second. They feel safe bringing certain characters back because, again, Morgan coming back was obvious, right? Not only is her connection to the Elven gods going to be useful in whatever story they're trying to tell right now, but ultimately they were going to bring back Morgan because she's one of the most fetishized characters in the series, right? That's just a fact. They're trying to do fan service for the sexual deviants. That's who they care about. They care about doing fan service for the people who use games like Dragon Age and Baldur's Gate 3 for their porn, right? They go to R34 and they use it for their porn. So that's who they're really trying to virtue signal to. And you guys can disagree with me all you want, but I see the writing on the wall with a game like this, man. Dragon Age: The Veilguard is absolutely trying to showcase a game that is meant to be an R34 like playhouse. That's really what it is. They're trying to make it something where it's like Baldur's Gate 3. The people who overly sexualize it and talk about it on Reddit and whatnot and just share interesting images and all that stuff. It's a fucking clusterfuck. So Dragon Age: The Veilguard apparently is not going to be giving you fan service. That seems to be the whole story of this article. There's been plenty of Veilguard information flying about in the past months for anyone already not sticking their head in the sand to avoid spoilers. Spoilers for what? For what? You guys are clearly not doing anything for the original Dragon Age games. Who cares? You've been saying for the longest time you're doing your own thing. You said it. You're doing your own thing. So spoilers for what? Nobody cares. It's its own separate story. You know, you guys are ending the franchise because I think they said this is the last one, but they're probably just saying that to try to make people go out and buy it, thinking it was the last one. And then boom, Dragon Age 5 is going to come out, 6 years later, ultra gay. But if this is the last game in the series, you guys went a completely different route for the last game of the series. So what does the other three have to do with anything? Nobody cares about spoilers in that regard. In the same Q&A session, BioWare also said you might be able to give some bad advice to any of your party members who decide to date each other in the Veilguard. Some of you do like to get messy. Wow, there's that relationship thing. Again, guys, it also ties into this. So there's an article here from IGN. I'm not going to read it, but I just want to talk about the headline really quick. This is all they're talking about, right? When it comes to Dragon Age: The Veilguard, what are you hearing about? You're not hearing about the story, right? You're not hearing about the characters too much. The only time you hear about the characters is in this way right here. BioWare reveals all the ways Dragon Age: The Veilguard evolves relationships and its steamiest romances too. This is it. This is it. This is all they fucking care about. They care about how many characters they can fuck in the game. This is all they talk about. They talk about the relationships and they talk about the character creator. That's it. The entire game is being marketed with how many relationships you can have and the character creator, how ugly you can make your character, top surgery scars, no titties, no ass, no fucking anything, but you can definitely make that bulge big though. Haha, this is the kind of people that we're dealing with here. This is who you're talking to. This is the people who are trying to pretend to be Dragon Age fans. And it's because they can virtue signal with it, right? They can put everything out there, their sexual identity out there, which is their entire personality, and then require that you listen to it because they're special. Like, I really don't know what else to put other than that. We dig into Dragon Age: The Veilguard's relationship mechanics with the help of its developers. Yeah, because developers only want to talk about that. That's it. That's all they want to talk about. So again, guys, ultimately, Dragon Age: The Veilguard has shown us its true colors. And if you want to buy it, right? If you want to buy it. I will never tell anybody what to do with their money. I can only inform you with information that I have available to me at the time of the video that I make. But at the end of the day, man, for me personally, I'm not buying this shit. I absolutely fucking refuse. And the only way it's even going to come into my hands is because I happen to be subscribed to EA, which I'm heavily thinking about getting rid of because I actually forgot that I even fucking had it. Yes, I'm one of those people that forgets. That's what they bank on, right? They bank on you forgetting, and I indeed forgot. So I'm thinking about canceling it. But ultimately, I guess we'll see in the future. But yeah, that's the only way it's getting into my hands because there's no fucking way I'm buying this game. There's absolutely no way I'm buying this game. But you make your decision and you choose for yourself. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.